Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len Schroeder.
And I'm Julio Zamora.
With a name like Pansy, they have to be tough. During our first segment, we're going to talk about growing pansies in the spring.
Weeds are popping up everywhere. These weeds, you have to kill now. We'll tell you all about it in our second segment.
It's nesting season for songbirds, and we'll tell you what you can do to help our feathered friends raise the next family of songbirds in our third segment.
Fruit trees have never been more popular than now. You have to have a great harvest, so there are specific things that you need to know. So we're going to tell you all about that in our fourth segment.
Nursery deliveries are rolling in with some of the latest and greatest landscape plants we've ever seen. We'll tell you all about our favorites during our final segment.
So stay tuned, and we'll be right back in the garden right after these messages. Bloomers in the Garden is brought to you each week by Bloomers Home and Garden Center. Bloomers is an award-winning garden center just 20 minutes from Philadelphia. Bloomers has been providing expert advice turning brown thumbs green for over 30 years. At Bloomers, we want you to ask us every question, even if you think it's silly. We share information in a friendly, non-judgmental way that is meant to teach and spread the joy of gardening. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center in Washington Township, Gloucester County. For directions, go to bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome's Triple Action contains 70% neem oil and 0.25% pyrethrins as a concentrate and ready to spray. It is an insecticide, fungicide, and miticide labeled to use on vegetables, fruits, nuts, herbs, spices, and ornamentals. This organic OMRI-listed product controls a wide variety of insect pests and diseases, including aphids, scale, spider mites, whiteflies, rust, leaf spot, and powdery mildew. This insecticide is an all-in-one bottle that will cure just about any problem you may run into throughout the year. Fertilome's Triple Action has been helping gardeners across the country for years. Best to apply in late evening and early morning hours. Mix 1 ounce, which is equivalent to 2 tablespoons in a gallon of water. The best part is Triple Action may be used up to the day of harvest. So the next time you are visiting your favorite garden center, ask for Fertilome's Triple Action and expect to have the best looking plants in the neighborhood.
You're listening to Bloomers in the Garden Radio. Listen anytime through your favorite podcast provider or see and hear us by subscribing to Bloomers YouTube channel. Bloomers in the Garden Radio is heard in Philadelphia and throughout the whole Delaware Valley every Saturday. First, wake up with us at 6 a.m. on WNWR The Word at 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. Tune in at 8 a.m. to Bloomers in the Garden Radio on Talk 860 WWDB. A rebroadcast of Bloomers in the Garden Radio is played each Saturday evening at 5 p.m. on The Word, 95.3 FM and 1540 AM. On Sunday at 8 a.m., we can be heard throughout the New York Tri-State Area on Classic Oldies, 1250 AM WMTR. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Pansies.
Yes.
You see them everywhere now.
Yes, you do.
And that we push them in the fall because they'll overwinter and then they'll come back and they'll flower again. They're just starting to, right now, they kind of look like green weeds. Flowers haven't come. Have you seen any flowers that were planted in the fall yet? No. I haven't. Yeah. So, pansies. The name like pansies, they've got to be tough.
They've got to be tough.
You can plant pansies right now. The only thing that you have to worry about is the flower. If the flower is hit by it's real windy or a hard rain, the flowers may get a little funny, but they'll still bloom because they're treated as a cold tolerant, annual, biannual, perennial, because it all depends. Yeah. It's not the freeze or the cold that bothers them. It's the heat.
It's the heat that bothers them.
It's the heat.
Yeah.
There are so many different varieties now where it used to be pansies and Johnny Jump-Ups.
That's it.
Johnny Jump-Ups are also known as violas.
Little guys.
They have little tiny, they're like miniature pansy flowers. Now, like Julio, I'm going to pick one of them. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. We have a giant, that is a majestic giant yellow blotch petunia. Aaron, you getting that? For
about what?
YouTube
3 inches?
It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge.
And that where this is more of a common yellow, so we'll leave that right there. And that where so many shades, and we used to be able to say like, oh, certain flowers that there's not many blue, but it has every color from blue. It's not, I guess, not a cherry red. It's more of a antique red, like a, I don't know, what would you call the reds? It's more of a rusty red.
Yeah,
rusty red,
yeah.
But they're fantastic.
They are.
And you could plant them right now, and we're in March, so you could plant them now. They will flower all the way through into July, but that's when it starts getting hot, and that's where they say, I'm going to start to stretch a little bit, I'm going to get long, and I'm going to get leggy, and what are you going to do to help me? And here's what you can do. Plant companion plants that will shade the pansies that will keep them a little bit less hot. Make sense, Julio?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
That one thing with pansies in the fall is that they will trick them into blooming because they'll actually put shade over them.
Yeah.
Or just plant them in the shade to begin with.
Yeah.
When the leaves on the trees leaf out, that'll produce that shade that they require for the summer, and that you can get them to extend, and then when it gets cooler in the fall, they'll kick back in. Yeah. But don't be surprised. And if you treat them as an annual, great, because they're going to last for months.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like it's going to last for a couple of weeks. It'll last for months, and it's a fantastic plant. Cheery.
Yeah.
Tell me about, what do you like about pansies?
Well, I used to not like them.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what I did? I got some in the fall.
You got some in the fall?
And I put in my pot.
Okay.
And now they're starting to come back.
Okay. I'm going to plant some right now. I had a winter pot, if you will, where it had white sticks and some magnolia in it. They're all being ripped out, and I'm planting pansies in there.
Yeah.
So you can't really do that with many annuals now, or perennials for that matter. And perennials aren't going to flower as long as the pansies will. So go ahead.
Yeah. I like the fact that the flowers are bigger. You can see them like from a distance.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you have a mass stem, can you imagine what that looks like?
It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And if you plant them in a pot like I'm going to, you can always transplant them out when it's time to put in your petunias or put in some of your, softer annuals. You can transplant the petunias into that shade that we were talking about so that they stay a little cooler, and then they will continue to bloom in the spring. But keep in mind, they're going to get a little bit leggy because that heat will make them stretch a little bit. But it's not you shouldn't be put off from planting pansies now because you'll just miss out an entire length of time. You figure March, April, May, and then they'll continue to flower in June and into July without any problem.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you have it on the east side where I put mine. You just get that morning sun and then the afternoon shade. Oh,
that's a perfect spot.
It is.
That's a perfect spot. Again, it's that humidity that they don't like, not heat, but
then you got other options.
They are. And again, you can plant some taller plants with them when it's time, because face it, you can't go and put impatiens out now or begonias. They're going to be dead. Like right now, we got tricked this week by a false spring. Where it's, I think, 70-something degrees this week. We hit close to that here in the Northeast, in Mid-Atlantic area. But don't be fooled.
Nope.
The cold is coming.
It is.
Cold is coming.
You know that.
All right. You didn't put your pointsette out, right?
Not yet.
No, not yet?
Not yet.
All right, good. See? We are an educational program.
That's right.
And I always do this to Julio. And he freaks out.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Pansy. Probably are edible. Yeah. The flowers are edible. I like, maybe it's this alcoholism problem I have, but you can actually freeze the flowers in a ice cube.
Ice cube, that's right.
And have it, put it in a drink, put it in something that looks really like, put in iced tea. Looks very cool.
Very cool.
And it doesn't really have much of a taste. There are some flowers that where the taste is a little bit peppery. Not on the pansy. Pansy is good.
A little lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want one?
Yeah, I'll take one.
You're gonna. All right, you're eating yellow, Julio.
Yeah.
I just had a blue.
Blue, yeah.
Julio's eating I put pepper all over it. No. So, describe what you're tasting. In a salad, mixed in a salad, would you still eat it?
Oh, yeah. It's earthy. It's got a,
earthy
taste.
Not like earthy, like mushrooms.
No, not like mushrooms.
We just got in our mushroom soil whenever they dump the mushroom soil. Oh. It's that earthy goodness.
Earthy goodness.
It stinks. But so every time you use earthy, all I think is like cow manure.
Great smell.
But pansies do not taste like cow manure. It's a mild salad. It's a mild lettuce, leafy lettuce kind of thing.
Yeah, mild.
I don't know.
Nothing strong.
So if you found, and I'm asking Aaron this, if you saw pansies in your salad, would you like pick them to the side like I do tomatoes, or would you eat them?
I'd probably pick them to the side.
Oh, really?
Yep. Not necessarily my palate.
Yeah. Do you want to try one?
No, thank you. I mean, I have tried one.
Really good.
Last time you brought pansies into the studio, I have tried some, but
I'm want to try this great big leaf one.
No, not today. I don't want to wash away my breakfast. The taste I got from my breakfast.
It really has a mild taste.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like if it was a salad or like mescaline mix. Ugh. I'm sorry. Those of you health conscious people, unlike myself, I don't like it. Yeah. And so this tastes nothing like that. This is more of like a really light has a light taste to it, but very light. So try pansies in your salad.
Yeah.
We're talking about it. It's a trend.
Yeah, it's a trend.
Growing flowers that you eat.
Edible, yes.
Edibles.
There you go.
So give it a try. And those of you that want Aaron to eat a pansy flower, I want you to call the hotline, 609-685-1880. We'll see if we can convince them to do it. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Wanting to up your game in the vegetable garden? With 90 years of organic gardening experience, the Espoma Company has you covered. Espoma Organic Garden Tone is not your average garden variety fertilizer. Garden Tone is especially blended for organic vegetable gardens. Its all-natural formula contains Biotone, a blend of organic ingredients that supplies essential nutrients for strong, healthy plants and mouth-watering vegetables. Its slow-release formula provides continuous feeding. The Biotone contained in Garden Tone is a combination of organic ingredients and beneficial microbes to help roots grow deeper and faster for bigger, more bountiful harvests. Garden Tone is simple to use and safe for people, pets, and the planet. No harmful chemicals or synthetic fertilizers are ever added. You can find Garden Tone at fine garden centers. Visit espoma.com to find a retailer near you. Garden Tone from Espoma. A natural in the garden since 1929. At Jonathan Green, green is much more than a color of a healthy lawn. Green is a lifestyle. The Jonathan Green Company is a multi-generational family-owned grass seed and fertilizer business. The team at Jonathan Green is passionate about helping homeowners grow the greenest, most luxurious lawns and healthiest soil in the neighborhood. Come to Bloomers and meet Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, at Bloomers Home and Garden Center Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Julio and I will be there to welcome our radio family to Bloomers and introduce you to Andrew. Learn about their line of premium lawn care products designed to enhance the beauty of your yard while promoting sustainability and environmental responsibility. When using Jonathan Green products, your lawn will never look better. Bring all of your questions to Bloomers and meet Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. This is your chance to get up close and personal with a lawn expert from Jonathan Green. Riveting, expert-led discussion covering covering everything from lawn maintenance to pest control. Armed with this information, you'll be sure to transform your lawn into a lush, thriving bed of paradise. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, come in and join us at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. and meet Andrew Decker, regional lawn expert from Jonathan Green. Together, let's cultivate greener, healthier lawns and landscapes for generations to come. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located at the corner of 344 Herfville Cross Keys Road and Fish Pond Road in Washington Township, Gloucester County, New Jersey. For more information, check us out on the web at www.bloomers.com. And we'll see you in the garden with Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Please RSVP by calling the Bloomers in the Garden hotline 609-685-1880. The spaces are limited, so please call the Bloomers in the Garden hotline to reserve your space at 609-685-1880.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, the mild winter has left weeds still growing throughout the season where they should be normally and dormant right now, right, Len?
Right.
Yeah,
they shouldn't be there.
Shouldn't be there. Yeah.
The first thing I noticed is that it is normal for chickweed to be growing, but my gosh, I have it everywhere.
Yeah.
Chickweed is a tiny leafed plant that is mixed in your lawn or even in your landscape beds, and right now it has white flowers. This is one of those things that's like, if it was put in a pot and you looked on it and it was labeled perennial, you'd say, wow, that's pretty nice. When it's growing in taking over your lawn, no, it's not so nice. It's pretty flat, and it honestly, it can be found throughout the country. And there are two different types. First of all, there's the one that has like a little bit of a shiny, a little bit of luster to the leaf. Then there's the other variety that's called mouse ear chickweed. That's a good name.
Yeah, it is.
I like that name. Oh, look how cute.
Cute that is.
It's like Sniffles. Sniffles and mouse. Anyway, it's a little bit more hairy, and that those of you that don't know what a mouse ear looks like, it kind of looks like this. So it's a green leaf, same size as the other one, where one, it's kind of has a shiny iridescent look to it, but it's still white flowers. This one, the leaves are a little bit on the hairy side. And like a white star type flower, the roots grow pretty fibrous. It's a tough thing to get rid of because you need to get rid of it now because we talk about it all the time. It's all about reproducing, you know. We're going to talk about nesting with birds in a little bit, but they want to basically pollinate, drop their seed, and start a whole nother generation. So anytime we're talking about weeds, that's what you're trying to do. Is you're trying to prevent them from pollinating so that you don't have another crop. You know, everybody wants to grow something. You don't want to grow weeds. That's for sure. So it's there are several different types of sprays you can use. We do like Bonide and VPG, which is a high yield. They both have products that will control. It is a chickweed and clover control, and that will work very well. But again, you can't do it when it's real cold. We were talking about earlier about how the weather right now, it's like we're getting that fall spring. You don't want to put that down when it's colder, and you want to use a liquid. Don't be fooled by saying, oh, I'll use a +2, or that crabgrass stuff I just put down will work. No, it won't. You need to spray it, and you need to spray it now when the weather is above 40 degrees. Okay. Next, henbit, also known as purple dead nettle, but also known as lamium.
Yeah.
Lamium is an ornamental plant. It's a perennial that you put down, but this is an ugly green-leafed variety, not the variegated variety, and they don't have necessarily a lot of super flowers on it. The stems are they're thick stems, and the leaves come right out of the stems. It doesn't become very branched. It is a pain.
Oh, yeah, I've had plenty of those.
You've got plenty. If anybody wants to see it, go over to Julio's house.
Right.
Everybody grab a sample so you can pull it up.
That's right.
Again, it has a square stem, which is kind of interesting, and it's in the mint family. So, again, it's if you have it, it's going to grow taller as opposed to our next weed, which is ground ivy, also known as creeping Charlie. Who that it was named after?
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, creeping Charlie.
Creepy Charlie.
Ew. And Charlie's creepy.
Don't remind me of my creeping Charlie.
Yeah, you got it all over.
You got it too.
And it appears, and it's there's a houseplant that looks very similar where it has like a half round or 3/4 round leaf, and it just pops up all over the place. And again, square stems, and it's starting usually now through June. And that it does get a flower on it, loaded with pollen. So if you have hay fever, this is one you want to get rid of for sure. Yeah. And again, you want to use a liquid control. Some of the granular controls, and let's do a little thing here, Julio. We're going to talk at the end of the segment before we sign to the commercial break. Right. Let's talk about the differences between a granular application of weed control versus a liquid. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So again, ground ivy or creeping Charlie, that is one that you'll see. We get it all the time, and a lot of people get them mixed up. Speaking of getting things mixed up, oxalis. Oxalis looks like a miniature clover with a yellow flower, and it's another one. It grows everywhere.
Yeah, I have that too.
You have that too?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I got a lot of weeds.
You got a lot of weeds, but you got zoysia.
In my garden.
You've got them in your garden. Okay. They can be pulled up, but don't leave the root. They'll just grow right back. Oxalis has that clover-looking leaf, but it also has a buttercup yellow flower. That's when you have oxalis, not clover. Clover is easily identified. We actually sell clover seed, and we encourage people to use clover, red clover, as a cover crop for their vegetable garden. Sure. It is a great plant that will add nitrogen back into the soil. But when it's in the middle and you have a patch in your lawn, it kind of, everything's color, texture, form, right? Now, all of a sudden, you got the wrong texture in your lawn, and that's why you want to get rid of it. But the same thing, you're going to want to use, there's Weed Beater Ultra, which is a bonide product. Very good. That is very, very good, and that will work. We talked about the chickweed and clover killer. That will work. But it's a liquid. It's a liquid. So you want to use a liquid. And if you put a granular on, okay, here's what has to happen. You have to make sure that granule sits on the leaf and stays there and is active for it to work. What happens, the wind blows, things happen, it drops down to the ground, and it doesn't do anything. Where a liquid, you'll treat the leaf and the weed, and it will coat the leaf. And as long as it's dry, it's safe for your pets and your family. And that where it dries on there, it's fine. And you have that complete coverage of the leaf. So you have the complete coverage of the leaf surface, and it'll work. If you're putting down your crabgrass control today, you can put down a liquid weed control for broadleaf weeds, for clover, for chickweed at the same time, because it works in two different ways. A crabgrass control puts a barrier in the soil that prevents crabgrass and other grassy weeds from coming through. This works completely different. This kills the existing weed. You can put crabgrass control on top of crabgrass and it still won't kill it. But if you put the liquid of the broadleaf weeds on the weeds that we talked about, it will control it. Because there's two different methods of control. One, it poisons the weeds and kills it. The other one prevents the weeds that's just a seed in the soil from germinating. Okay, we went over that last week or a couple weeks ago. So again, this is something where you want to spray them. You don't want to rely on a +2 or weed and feed. You know, it works as far as like a cleanup, like maybe you'll hit a dandelion or something with a really big fat leaf like plantain, but not on some of these other ones where it's like we were talking about the fuzzy leaf of the mouse ear chickweed, you know, where it bounces right off. It doesn't stay. So again, use a water, liquid, concentrate, or they do have ready to sprays. Use them, right?
Yeah, it's good to identify the weed, because that way you know what to use.
Right.
That's important for the customer to know.
That's right. And again, it's if you see it now, it's usually a perennial. It's a broadleafed weed. The one that you don't see is crabgrass. Crabgrass has not started germinating yet. You need to put it down, and it prevents it. So it's not going to kill it. It prevents it. There's a lot of products like that, like preen, for instance. You put preen in your landscape beds to prevent weeds from coming up, but it's not going to control existing weeds. Your crabgrass control is not going to control existing weeds. It's going to prevent them. The liquid weed control that we're talking about, the clover and oxalis killer, the chickweed clover oxalis killer, the weed beater ultra, that will kill existing weeds. That's what you want to use. And I honestly, 1-2 punch, put down your crabgrass control and take the liquid, spray all the weeds you see.
Yeah, that's great.
Clean it up,
everything up.
one and done. I guess 2 and done. But in one day, you can do it all in one day.
That's right.
All right, we've got to take a break. We'll be back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. At Jonathan Green, green is much more than a color of a healthy lawn. Green is a lifestyle. The Jonathan Green Company is a multi-generational family-owned grass seed and fertilizer business. The team at Jonathan Green is passionate about helping homeowners grow the greenest, most luxurious lawns and healthiest soil in the neighborhood. Come to Bloomers and meet Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, at Bloomers Home and Garden Center Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Julio and I will be there to welcome our radio family to Bloomers and introduce you to Andrew. Learn about their line of premium lawn care products designed to enhance the beauty of your yard while promoting sustainability and environmental responsibility. When using Jonathan Green products, your lawn will never look better. Bring all of your questions to Bloomers and meet Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. This is your chance to get up close and personal with a lawn expert from Jonathan Green. Riveting, expert-led discussion covering everything from lawn maintenance to pest control. Armed with this information, you'll be sure to transform your lawn into a lush, thriving bed of paradise. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, come in and join us at Bloomers Home and Garden Center Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. and meet Andrew Decker, regional lawn expert from Jonathan Green. Together, let's cultivate greener, healthier lawns and landscapes for generations to come. Bloomers Home and Garden Center is located at the corner of 344 Herfville Cross Keys Road and Fish Pond Road in Washington Township, Gloucester County, New Jersey. For more information, check us out on the web at www.bloomers.com. And we'll see you in the garden with Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Please RSVP by calling the Bloomers in the Garden hotline, 609-685-1880. The spaces are limited, so please call the Bloomers in the Garden hotline to reserve your space at 609-685-1880. Your next houseplant is waiting for you in Bloomer's Home and Garden Center's greenhouse. Bloomer's recognizes that houseplant choices are as important to your interior decorating as the fabric on your couch. The right plant, paired with the perfect container, can bring a dynamic change to your home. A houseplant brings life to your world and connects your home's interior to the greater outdoors. Even a small succulent placed on your coffee table has a way of connecting your living room to the Amazon rainforest. How about an air plant in your kitchen? Looking for an indoor flowering plant to add color to your plant palette? Bloomers has a large revolving assortment of flowering beauties. From aglaonemas to ZZ plants, Bloomers Greenhouse is stocked with your next favorite indoor plant. Bloomers carries a large selection of pottery and containers to match your home's decor and make any of your plants more beautiful. Bloomers experts can help you care for your plants and have the fertilizer, insecticides, leaf shine, and specialty soils you need to grow healthy and happy indoor plants. Visit Bloomers Home and Garden Center's greenhouse and make every room in your home a living room. Visit bloomers.com for more information. That's bloomers.com, and we'll see you in the garden. Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. I'm Len, he's Julio. There's Aaron, Sam's behind the glass. All right. It's nesting season. Have you gone outside now? And all of a sudden it's like, oh my God. Yeah, it's like a scene from the Hitchcock movie, The Birds. The birds are chirping. They're like, it's like everybody, all of them are saying, the males, look at me, look at me, look at me.
I'm here.
Here I am. Look at my plumage. Right. I would make a great mate. But so it's time to put, not necessarily you want to be feeding, absolutely. But it's time to put nesting boxes out because they're looking for a place to raise their young. We were talking about how the boxes that you buy or build, there are plans out there, you can build your own, but it's actually the hole where the birds come in, that the actually size of the hole. Like, for instance, if you want a big bird, like, for instance, you want, say, an owl to go in, that hole needs to be 3 inches, okay? If you want something like a, say a chickadee or something like that, you're looking at an inch and a quarter. And that size determines the birds you're going to get. So just keep that in mind, and that where you're going to put it. Different birds require different places. A lot of people say, I never get anything in my, because like they have it right by the door where there's a lot of activity, and it's like, hey, they want some peace and quiet to raise the kids.
They don't want to,
they don't want to go where the Amazon guys dropping boxes all over the place. So again, trees inside a somewhat of a secluded area is best. Again,
and height too, right?
Absolutely. It depends on the bird that you want. I find that nesting, people forget that they do need to be cleaned out after the season, and that people just leave them there, and
they're not going back.
It's they need the little little maintenance,
little vacuuming.
They need a cleaning lady to come in and clean up a little bit. There is one birdhouse here that we've got. That this is a nest view birdhouse where it awesome. Actually you has suction cups, and you're going to go with a smaller bird because you don't want the whole house falling down because the suction cups would go on a window. And if you're looking on YouTube, please subscribe and please give us a rating if you're listening on podcasting. We want a 5, right, Julio?
5. Give me 5.
Come on, that's a high 5.
High 5.
We got to work on that.
Yeah, we do.
That it's clear, so you can look through the window and you can see the birds in their nest. Again, it is best to put it in a room where there's not a lot of activity. Like, don't put it in necessarily in the kitchen. Don't put it in an area where there's a lot where the cat's going to scare the heck out of the birds. You got to put it in like a quiet spot. It is. And that will, attract the birds to the nest, to build the nest, and it's great for kids.
Yeah, great for kids.
Great for kids.
Yeah. Can you imagine
the size of the hole, okay, that you drill or you buy depends on the bird that you want. Now, there is something that I would add to this where there's a ring that will protect that hole from squirrels chewing the hole. So it also will prevent other birds from getting in. So if you have a smaller hole, you're going to try to protect those. You're going to try to protect it. I mean, in this area, we don't necessarily have an issue with snakes, but in other parts of the country, they have to protect their nesting boxes from snakes coming in and eating the eggs. So what I want you to do is to put on the ring that goes around it, and it's the same size hole that you have, and that will protect the squirrels from chewing into the box and being able to get in to go after the eggs or the young, for that matter. Important to do. Important to do. One of the things I love are cardinals. We were talking, I guess a month ago or so, about cardinals, how they are monogamous. They are monogamous for life. And someone put to it, and one of the things, let me back up a second here, is the Cornell has the best birding program in the world. And that if you go into the Cornell website, or you just do Cornell wild bird, you'll come right up into it. They have so much information, and they have so much activities for kids, adults, doesn't matter. It's just something where you can get lost in, and it's a great thing. But going back to cardinals, all right, cardinals are the most visible of almost all of the birds. They stand out. Like, how come they aren't like, hawk, cardinal, lunch? How come they aren't? They still keep their numbers up. Why? It said that 40% of the nests only fledge one cardinal. So if if that's your percentage of reproducing, it's 40%. But here's the difference. Cardinals will actually breed all season. And generally, they don't really migrate, and that they start building their nests as early as February. Like, I know that I've seen cardinals all winter, and that we're having cardinals around, and that they'll continue to nest all the way into September. And so that gives them the opportunity to, raise, there's lots of there's lots of brothers and sisters happening, because they're just again, it's one of those things where they can do it and they can breed more often, where there is some that only have one nest per season. I love cardinals. They are my favorite bird. No, I take that back. What's your favorite bird?
I like the chickadees.
Yeah.
They're cool.
You stole mine.
Yeah.
Black-capped chickadees.
Yeah, they're just, they're not
Carolina wren.
Yeah, the wren,
the polite bird.
Yeah.
May I have a seed?
Yeah.
Comes to your feeder, grabs one, flies back onto a branch, eats it, comes back, takes one. Yeah. But cardinals are certainly, I love seeing cardinals. We saw a cardinal, and I've got my eyes aren't so good lately. It must have been 500 yards. Wow. And it was in an oak tree, and there was no foliage on the oak tree or anything. And this is just a few weeks ago, and could see it. And it was Danielle goes, "Look at the cardinal." Wow. And I'm like looking on the deck. That's where I see him. But she was talking about like, 500. Half a mile.
Wow.
And it was red, and it stood out, and it was spectacular. Those of you that aren't feeding the birds or are not doing nesting boxes, you should get out there. It is a great hobby. It's easy. I'll tell you, it is something that brings you real joy, especially if you've got kids. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, have got anything to add?
Well, the color red, it's intense. And the females, they understand that. because they're attracted to
I always wondered how come that in creation that it was the males that had all the fancy plumage, like the peacocks. Like, peacocks come out, they raise their feathers up.
Yeah, look at that. Look at me.
I guess it makes me appreciate the Mummers Parade a little bit. Aaron is shaking his head.
Yeah,
you don't understand the Mummers Parade. I know.
I have no clue what that is.
I know.
Oh, my
I know.
goodness. You have to teach him that.
It took a while.
Mummers.
I've been here for 30 years, and I'm finally understanding it.
All right.
I
have to Google it.
It's like, we're going to... The Mummers Parade is very cool.
All right.
It is very cool. Most of them are... Well, we won't get into that. It takes a long time to put on those costumes, and they're not drinking water.
All right. It sounds like a good time.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Mummers Parade is a great time. But again, just like in the bird world, it's the males that have the plumage that is like mallard ducks.
The mallard duck.
Hey,
the
man.
poor ladies, they just got the brown thing going on, and mallard ducks has got this all shiny, sparkling thing.
Yeah.
I definitely like to ride in, or when we get cars, as a male thing, we get cars, we showing off, right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
God has a sense of humor.
That's exactly true. That's exactly true. So next time you see a bright, sparkly bird in the sky, it's probably a male. Showing off again. There they are.
There they are, yeah.
It doesn't hold true to species.
Man.
It's the same thing. Each species showing off.
Yep. You'll see me in my my bright red yacht pulling up 32 foot. You'll know it's me.
It's you, huh, Aaron?
Yep.
Anyway, please put a nesting box out and enjoy the science and the fun of it. Make sure you're feeding the birds. And again, just like in bird seed that you select to put out for your wild birds, it attracts a certain type of bird. So do the nesting boxes.
Right.
Honestly, it's probably easier for you to do something smaller to attract some of the smaller songbirds and the larger songbirds. That bluebirds can be difficult, but hang in there. It requires some patience, requires some study if you want to attract bluebirds. But again, it's something that it will be a reward.
Really rewarding, yeah.
We'll be right back in the garden right after this. Hi, this is Len Schroeder from Bloomers in the Garden. Do you have a landscape, garden, or plant question? If so, call or text us using the Bloomers in the Garden hotline. Dial 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. Don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Call or text us and let us know what problems you're facing. Let us know how we're doing. Call or text 609-685-1880. If we use your comment on the air, we'll send you a free Bloomers t-shirt. Call or text us at 609-685-1880. That's 609-685-1880. And we'll see you in the garden. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix with EcoPeat is the perfect ready-to-use potting mix for all your succulents. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix is a blend of sphagnum peat moss, perlite, and EcoPeat. EcoPeat is a natural wood fiber from peat bogs. When added to Fertilome peat moss, it produces a superior professional substrate with an exceptional ratio of air porosity and water holding capacity. Fertilome Succulent Potting Mix will ensure maximum drainage with ideal water retention. It's simply the best succulent mix on the market. Ask for Fertilome by name at your local garden center. Available at Daniel's Garden Center, Sumneytown Pike, Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Gasper's Home and Garden, 316 Tanyard Road, Richboro, PA.
If you're like me, then you absolutely love birds. The Bird Sanctuary at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center has you covered. They're dedicated to the care and feeding of wild birds of all sorts. Want to bring more birds to your yard? Then you got to see this place. Bloomers has a huge flock of feeders, birdhouses, birdseed, and much, much more. Want to feed the birds and not the squirrels? They have this absolutely cool bronze bird feeder that will drive those sneaky squirrels nuts. they'll be moving to the next door neighbor in no time. OMG. Bloomers have these absolutely adorable birdhouses that will turn your yard into the perfect bird B&B. They carry all types of wild bird seed, suet, seed cakes, and mealworms. Bloomer stocks Lyric, Coles, CNS, Pine Tree Farms, and much, much more that will keep those beautiful birds coming back for more. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located in Washington Township in Gloucester County. For more information and directions, check them out on the web at bloomers.com. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center, you got to see this place.
Welcome back to Bloomers in the Garden. Well, you know, the popularity of raising fruit trees has never been more popular, and it's really increasing quite a bit right now.
Absolutely. Apples, pears, peaches, plums, all dwarf trees are preferred.
Yes.
You know, all dwarf trees. But it requires maintenance.
It does.
It requires maintenance. There's two things that anybody who buys a fruit tree absolutely needs to buy a bottle to spray them with to control insects and disease. But also get ready to prune. Pruning is a technique that will make them grow better, be less disease issues. Julio, tell me, don't fear the shears.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that. Not with fruit trees. You need to prune at a certain time, and you'll know that, if you go online when to do it. But
when would I prune? Would I prune now?
Well, certain fruit trees, you got to be careful when to prune. You know, can't prune them when they're ready to bud and everything out.
Learn your orchard.
Yeah, that's right. You got to learn when to do it. So timing is important. So, you know, pruning is great because for, like Len was saying, for produce production, and air circulation is key to this too. That way you won't have disease problems as you would if you didn't do any of this. So you got to really be on top of fruit trees.
That's right.
On a monthly basis. You got to really, learn your tree and how it works.
Right now, I would spray with a dormant oil spray.
Sure.
And the way a dormant oil spray is actually organic, and that it coats any insects, overwintering egg masses with a coating of oil, a light coating of oil. And again, it's organic in that it smothers the insects rather than allowing them to, all of a sudden, you've got a whole gaggle of, is gaggle right? Gaggle's for geese. Gaggle of geese. But at the same thing, you'll have lots and lots of these egg masses that hatch, and now all of a sudden you've got insects eating the fruit, the leaves,
everything,
the buds. Because remember, it's that little flower that you get, that beautiful flower, that becomes the fruit later on. And if that gets damaged at any time during that time where it forms the flower to the time that it forms the full-size fruit, that is a problem. So you've got to make sure that you're spraying. And there's different times, like when it has green tip, they call it. Green tip means it's just starting to push out new growth, and it has the tips of the branches are green. That's when you're going to spray. And you're going to want to use a fruit tree spray. There's a couple of different companies that I would recommend. Bonide has one that's very good, but also High Yield, which is actually a VPG company, that they have one. You're going to do it again when it's blooming. Now, you want to, I'm always torn with this, Julio. Do you do it before pollination or after pollination? I do it before pollination. So if you're in heavy bud, that's when I would go ahead and spray it at that point. Then again, when the petals drop off. So now everything's been pollinated. The fruit is going to form. You want to, when that last petal is dropping, or that you can tell that the flowers have faded and that you've had pollination, that's the next time to spray. Then the first time, when you get excited and you see, look, there's an apple, or there's a peach, or there's a cherry. When you start seeing the fruit form, the first time you see and observe the fruit set, that's the next time you want to spray. Now, again, that's going to be sometime during summer. It's not going to be right away. So don't get, don't think you're going to be spraying every other day. That the last time you're going to spray is 21 days. So that's 3 weeks before harvest. So again, it's important to do. It's essential to do because nothing's worse than growing a pear and it's all like gross because it's all got spots all over it and everything else. Apples, you've got those. I watched The Wizard of Oz. Little green worms. Yeah. The little green worms in your apples. Nothing's worse than that. Yeah. You want to grow the best crop that they don't have at the grocery store. But it's also something to be proud of. A lot of the produce that's brought into the country is from other areas. I wonder what their spray rules are. Yeah,
we don't know.
Like grapes from Ecuador.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how many times have the Ecuadorians sprayed this product, and are they delivering a cancer bud? That's right. So growing your own fruit and produce protects you. You know what you're putting on it. And don't be surprised that you have to spray. It's just something you have to do. And also, if you put on mulch so that you don't want to go through extremes of really dry, really wet, really dry, really wet. Really. So make sure you're going to apply some mulch.
Yeah, and watering properly, too.
Yep. And again, you're going to spray. That's it.
It's a regimen.
You're going to spray. Yep. Okay. Go to your local garden center. Talk to them about home orchard sprays. Go to your local. I'd go to your state university. Okay. Just put in fruit trees, like, say, Penn State. .edu, and or go and put it in Rutgers.edu. Again, Maryland has a really good actually handout for fruit trees. So go and do that so that you get an idea about doing it. So again, Aaron is
Don't forget, we also have fruit trees at Bloomers.
Well, of course. We have fruit trees at Bloomers.
And a care sheet program.
Yeah, we do have a care sheet at Bloomers.
Feel free to stop and pick one up for yourself, for sure.
Look, if you want a care sheet sent to you, please call a hotline.
Yep.
That's 609-685-1880, and we'll send you our care sheet. And it talks about all of these things, from pruning to spraying and mulching. That, again, if you want a copy of the fruit tree care sheet from Bloomers, please call 609-685-1880, and we'll get it to you. If you want to leave your email, we can also email it to you as a PDF. We can also email it to you as a paper copy in regular mail. Anything to add, Julio?
No, I think
that's it.
That's it. We hit it.
We'll be right back in the garden right after this. At Jonathan Green, green is much more than a color of a healthy lawn. Green is a lifestyle. The Jonathan Green Company is a multi-generational family-owned grass seed and fertilizer business. The team at Jonathan Green is passionate about helping homeowners grow the greenest, most luxurious lawns and healthiest soil in the neighborhood. Come to Bloomers and meet Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, at Bloomers Home and Garden Center Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Julio and I will be there to welcome our radio family to Bloomers and introduce you to Andrew. Learn about their line of premium lawn care products designed to enhance the beauty of your yard while promoting sustainability and environmental responsibility. When using Jonathan Green products, your lawn will never look better. Bring all of your questions to Bloomers and meet Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. This is your chance to get up close and personal with a lawn expert from Jonathan Green. Riveting, expert-led discussion covering everything from lawn maintenance to pest control. Armed with this information, you'll be sure to transform your lawn into a lush, thriving bed of paradise. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, come in and join us at Bloomer's Home and Garden Center Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. and meet Andrew Decker, regional lawn expert from Jonathan Green. Together, let's cultivate greener, healthier lawns and landscapes for generations to come. Bloomer's Home and Garden Center is located at the corner of 344 Herfville Cross Keys Road and Fish Pond Road in Washington Township, Gloucester County, New Jersey. For more information, check us out on the web at www.bloomers.com. And we'll see you in the garden with Jonathan Green's regional lawn expert, Andrew Decker, Saturday, April 13th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Please RSVP by calling the Bloomers in the Garden hotline 609-685-1880. The spaces are limited, so please call the Bloomers in the Garden hotline to reserve your space at 609-685-1880.
Dreaming of a gorgeous garden? Give your azaleas, rhododendron, blueberries, and evergreens a powerful boost with the #1 acid-loving plant food, Espoma Organic Hollytone. Hollytone is a perfect blend of natural, long-lasting ingredients that nourish plants for stronger roots, faster growth, and bountiful blooms. Plus, it's easy to use and safe for people, pets, and planet. Visit Espoma.com for a retailer near you and helpful gardening tips. Espoma, a natural in the garden since 1929.
Well, Julio, spring is here.
Yes, we love it.
You know, you can tell from the rumbling of the trucks coming in, dropping off nursery stock at Bloomers in the Garden.
Yeah, we hear them every day.
I tell you, some of the things that have come in, like we hadn't gotten dwarf tree lilacs for a while, where they're actually a tree form that they're sheared to grow that way. So like a little lollipop tree, and they're the Korean lilacs. I love those. How about you?
I just saw one that's called, for all those tea lovers out there, Rosy Teacups, Oriental Dogwood. Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, big flowers on these, folks. Big flowers.
And rounded, right?
Oh, yes, kind of rounded, yeah.
Right. We just got in the Eclipse hydrangea.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. We're going to have it early, but it's not going to last long. I talked with our growers. They say we just didn't get enough supply. Anything else, Hul?
Let me see. What else? Tricolor Beach. Wow.
Yeah, I love Tricolor Beach. I've got one. I've got one that's about 40 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Get out to your local garden centers, check out the nurseries. You'll be surprised on how much nursery stock and what different things there are. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're busy in the summer."
Yeah.
So,
you know, you talk about science. You know, these breeders are working hard.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And we'll save natives for another show. We'll be back in the garden right after this.
See me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
Well, Julio, we couldn't forget that. Busy show today. Busy show.
Yeah, we're into it.
Sign up for the Jonathan Green Lawn class. Call the hotline to reserve your space. 609-685-1880.
Right.
We'll see you next week right here in the garden.
We'll see you in the garden.